right? We were looking at the project, so we got two, I would tell you names for the companies, but we got two final proposals, okay? And there were two things that were in what you just said. One was, oh, the city of Irvine, the city of Irvine is like this. There's a high restriction on how do I say, of facilities. You cannot go too high. The city of Irvine says, look, you gotta maintain whatever building you're gonna put in this area under this height. Right, so that was the first problem we ran when we were getting the proposal from these companies, right? And the I mean, if you go probably higher than this, they so what the company had to do was to build all the data and then bring the machine down, right? And then also that we can, it's not the first problem. But the company, two companies, they hear the proposals, everything looked great, right? One of the companies said, this, we're gonna give you two proposals. One, a very large one, and the other one, two smaller ones. You can bring them up, because they're not installed, okay? Plus, if one doesn't work, you still have some, right? Yes, the question is an economic question of economics, right? Do I have two machines that have to deal with two maintenance? Do I have to deal with two sets of excitations, two sets of this, two sets of relays? Or do I just have one and I just, well, and we debated that for a long time in the company, like, and finally, the engineer who was in charge, he was just so smart, probably one of the greatest engineers Edison has. Allison came and said, I'm gonna go with this. I have a good feeling I'm gonna go with this because not only because of what you just said, even the Kalaisho who was looking at the project said, "Ooh, we like that because of that contingency. You can lose one, you still have some, right? As if you lose the whole thing." The other thing was the high restriction that we had, right? So we ended up with two machines rather than one. They broke in half. I'm gonna see if I can find this video. Somebody give it to me. I gotta have it on. There were five synchronous condensers that were installed in I'm gonna say in the southern part of the grid. So San Diego has four, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Edison has one. And San Diego went with a whole different design. They went with one single, right? Somebody gave me a video of how they moved the machine. Actually, it's close to my house. This when I don't know how long it took to get it from the the port of LA to the port of LA to down to Talega, which is down in South Orange County. So they said, I was just one.
They probably have like a gyroscopic like type of
Yeah, I
control
mean,
system
and somebody
to
gave me
keep it
that
stable.
video that those videos that they're in slow motion. I'm gonna see if I can find you guys see how massive this thing was, but the technology was whoa, next level, like next level. Then the second machine that was supposed to be Edison, so Kalaisa said, okay, San Diego used, I think it was four. Edison, you're gonna install two. So he installed the one in Santiago, so Santiago is in Irvine, city of Irvine. And then the second one, Edison was supposed to install it at San Onofre with the nuclear power plant. You guys come by the nuclear power plant that have those domes?
Yeah.
So the two companies came again. Hey, no, we are giving you, do you have that other one next to you? The other thing is that these machines can fight each other, right? Like when they said, hey, control voltage, it's like cats. Oh, okay, you want me to do what? And then they both start trying to do something. So, but the company, I'm going to tell you the name of the company because I don't want to say anything bad about them or good about them, but the company said, hey, San Diego has a machine not that far from here. We can guarantee that our design is the same as that one. You're not going to have issues with the machine fighting with each other, those two controllers, right? If you go with this, I don't know if that company is going to be able. So anyways, they were trying to sell that out. You know what happened? By the time the project came and they allocated the money. They went and looked at San Onofre, and where they could install the machine, right, where there's lands in there, there was a curve. It's a slope and it's a curve like this. And the engineers from that company said, there's no way we can get that machine down there. And it wasn't that far. I mean, they said, there's no way we can do it. So,
Without damaging the machine.
right, so the smaller ones, hey, they're smaller, yeah, we can do it. They can stand the weight, right? So, and they gave, I think they gave a couple of other proposals, saying, maybe we can stabilize the soil, we can do this, we can put a ramp, but it was just too much. All that work, and then the Calaisa said, guess what? Maybe we don't need them yet. The problem was in South Orange County, especially in South Orange County, and that's what there's so many in San Diego, is that when San Onofre was removed, you're talking about a 1,200 megawatt synchronous generator. You know how many bars you can get out of that machine?
Sorry.
We could get, so they kept Orange County voltage very good, very stable, and that's why when they decommissioned that, they said, we need synchronous motors, synchronous machines to keep the voltage right. So, yes, and they're talking right now about maybe a couple of more in that area. They keep on building down there. Like if you go just in the last 10 years, man, like 3 cities have sprawled out in South Orange County. So the load continues to increase, but there is not enough bars, there is not enough inertia. So who knows? I think eventually they will. But yeah, it's a really fun. You probably get involved in that at some point because it's transmission planning system, right? They're the ones right. They're the ones who are responsible for the CAISO is responsible for the stability of the system for this. That's their responsibility to maintain voltage stability in the state of California. But so they tell the utilities, hey, you guys got to install something. So they do their studies and then the utility do a study and says, yeah, we need money to build something. Right?
Professor, can I show you the graph?